Annunciation Radio presents Faith Alive, highlighting the many ways Catholic Charities here in the Diocese of Toledo provides love and support for those in need. And now, your host for Faith Alive, Executive Director of Catholic Charities in Toledo, Rodney Schuster.
Hello and welcome to Faith Alive, the program that shares how the love of Jesus Christ is provided through the ministries of Catholic Charities throughout the Diocese of Toledo. I'm your host, Rodney Schuster, Executive Director for Catholic Charities, and today we're going to talk all things about Project Bethlehem. I know, it's hard to believe that we are getting closer to the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, but as part of that, in our ministries at Catholic Charities, we know that there are people that might go without. We know that people are on difficult situations, circumstances where they don't have resources to do things like buy Christmas gifts for their children or do something special for Thanksgiving. And that's why the ministries of Catholic Charities are such a gift in our diocese, because we make sure that people have food, that they have clothing, through our ministry at Helping Hands of St. Louis and Shelter, La Posada, our permanent supportive housing program. And as part of that, we not only serve people and try to help them in their journey, hopefully help them in their journey from meeting them where they're at to, a journey of being more independent, maybe being able to help themselves. But if they can't help themselves, we're there front in line to make sure that they have what they need in order to live a healthy and hopefully fulfilling life. But today we're going to talk about Project Bethlehem, and it's a ministry, a sub-ministry, if you will, of the work that we've been doing at Catholic Charities for a number of years. And two folks that are so involved in Project Bethlehem, Jen Voigt, who is our program coordinator for our permanent supportive housing program, and Smith-Wojnowski, who's a program coordinator for La Posada. They have just been stellar, and I'm not going to use the word rock stars, but they have been fantastic in providing Project Bethlehem for families and children in our community in Catholic Charities. So anyway, Jen and Michelle, welcome to Faith Alive.
Hi, Rodney. Thanks for having us.
It's great to have you both. So, Jen, maybe just share a little bit of an overview of Project Bethlehem, what you're doing for your program, the Permanent Supportive Housing Program. And I think, too, people might not even quite understand what the Permanent Supportive Housing Program means. So maybe even step back and share that a little bit. And then what you've been doing ever since you've been at Catholic Charities, even probably before you were, I don't know if you were before you were hired, helping out with Project Bethlehem.
Sure, yeah. Like Rodney said, my name is Jen Voigt. I oversee the Permanent Supportive Housing Program here in the Toledo area. So we serve chronic homeless families and individuals in Lucas County. So what that means is we serve the most vulnerable population here in the area, and individuals and families who've been homeless for 12 months or longer. So that's an extended period of time. So as you can imagine, people that come to us have a lot of barriers, a lot of things that they need to work through. Oftentimes, they're single parents, single mothers with children. And so what we do is we meet them where they're at, and we help get them into housing. And then we work with them over time to help remove some of those barriers and provide stability by paying their rent. We encourage, income, employment. And so a unique thing about our program is we serve people who have a disability. And so that's what qualifies them. And so there's challenges and there's barriers to work through. And so a part of that is us coming alongside them with case management and support to help reach some of those goals that they have. And so a part of that is what I've been doing here at Catholic Charities. I would say since 2015, it's about 10 years. Prior to that, I worked at the La Posada Family Shelter, and I came to Catholic Charities as an intern with the University of Toledo through Catholic Charities as an organization. And so I've been here just serving and being able to see faith be a part of what I do. And so a part of that is, like Rodney said, Project Bethlehem. And so I didn't really get to dive into it much before I was hired. But then once I was hired, I was pretty surprised about how the community does come together. And so what that looks like is what Rodney said is we provide Christmas assistance for families and individuals in this area. I know throughout the diocese we have different programs that serve Project Bethlehem. So here we mostly are serving families and some single individuals who've been served by us either in the past year or currently being served by us through some of the ministries. And so I get to be a part of that. Michelle and I get to work together and serve and organize and bring the community together to work through sponsoring and caring for these families so they can get Christmas on Christmas morning. So.
Yeah, and I will share, and obviously we're going to share how if you want to help, there's ways to do that. But, every year Jen we start getting all these gifts in from sponsors, and it's beautiful to see the support that's out there. But without somebody kind of overseeing it and making sure it goes well, it could be a nightmare. And I'm so thankful for Jen because we see the offices get filled here with gifts, and not just one office, but conference rooms, other offices, large areas. And her team member, Tiara, are so awesome at making sure everything is organized to make sure that the gifts that were intended for the people that she wants to help gets them. So, that alone is just amazing that she does that. And it's a lot of work. And I think that's the beauty of what we do at Catholic Charities and what Jen does for her program is she knows it's a lot of work. Yet every year she comes back and does it again because she knows the end result. And we want to talk about some of those results of the people that receive their Christmas gifts, every year. To see the smile on their faces. So we're going to switch over to La Posada. Michelle, tell us about your Project Bethlehem and what you try to do within the La Posada. Maybe, again, share just an overview for those who don't know what La Posada does for the people that are in need here in our diocese.
Sure. Again, my name is Michelle Wojnowski, and I'm the program coordinator of La Posada Family Shelter. We serve 10. We have the ability of serving 10 families within the shelter, and they have to be families in order to enter in. So we're looking at adults and children, and we can house about 38 people. And right now we are full. Yeah. So we have about 33 people that are currently in shelter. This is my second official year of coordinating with Jen, and while it is a lot of work, it is also a lot of fun, and especially to see the looks on the kids' faces, when they do receive these gifts. And so I'm excited to be able to do this again this year.
So share how you guys are working together, because I think it's important for our listening audience to know, because it's you got La Posada, which isn't, part of the Pastoral Center ministries here, and then Jen, you serve out of the Pastoral Center. So how do you guys navigate, getting gifts in, making sure, it's all taken care of, organized? So how do you approach that, and how if you need help, and we're going to get to how people can help either by being sponsors or maybe even volunteering, but how do you guys navigate that?
Yeah, so right now we ask for sponsorship to serve those families that we're looking to get Christmas for, and so all of that coordination comes into me directly. And so I just try to organize and see what our family need is. We gather that. Michelle and I work together. And then from there, a sponsor is assigned a coordinator. And so that's either Michelle for the families that she's serving or myself for the families that we're serving in permanent supportive housing. And then after that step, the families will get their wish list, and you can coordinate with that sponsor then to figure out, okay, what do I need to get? How does this go? And then really the beauty of it is the sponsors can personalize the gifts and wrap them and do what they would like to do to donate. And so then they would deliver those gifts either to La Posada or here at the Pastoral Center. And then we would then coordinate to get those gifts to the family. So there's a process, but
Sure.
with anything, you do it over time and it seems to go smoothly. So, yeah.
That's awesome. And if somebody is interested in helping, I guess, you shared the process a little bit, Jen. What would you suggest that they do? Let's say if they want to be a sponsor, or can you use volunteer help? And I'm not sure if either of you can, but if you can, what that would look like. And then just maybe the timing of everything from beginning to end. When will you start looking for sponsors? When will you start getting wish lists? When would you want gifts? Just so everybody, and again, if they're different at here for the permanent supportive housing or program in La Posada, then we share that. So why don't we start with you, Jen?
Yeah, so right now we are looking for sponsorship. We do have some coming in. We've just sent out a request letter to some people that we've, worked with over the years. Those are individual families, businesses, parishes, groups. And so we are always looking to get new sponsorships. Everyone's situation changes. And so right now we are needing more sponsors to be able to provide Christmas for these children and these families. We would need that all the way up to, I would say, December, because we do have families like Michelle talked about. The shelter's full right now. And so as families hopefully are able to move out, new families come in. And when you're in crisis, you don't always think about Christmas. And so sometimes we have those last minute needs. We try to meet those. And so we're looking for sponsorship right now. I would say by November, we have a coordinated system where we get you your list, and so you'll have time to shop. And so we look to get that to you by the first week of November, and then we just ask the gifts come in that first or second week of December. And so here at the Pastoral Center, we have set a date of December 12th and December 15th that we have the gifts come in. And then we try to get those picked up and distributed or delivered if families don't have a way by the 17th of December. So right now we're looking at getting some more sponsorships in and meeting those needs of the families that we have here.
And is it similar at La Posada as well, Michelle?
Yes, very much so. The same dates are what we focus on as well. Volunteers, however, is something that we do need for La Posada. A lot of our donors, we don't want them to be burdened with having to wrap gifts because they are doing so much as far as donating those gifts. So we will have volunteers that will meet with us, and we provide all of the materials, and they'll just wrap the gifts for those families.
Okay, awesome. And if people want to learn more about this, how they might be able to help in different ways, what's the best way for them to reach out to either of you for information?
Yeah, so this is Jen. You can reach out to me by phone at 419-214-4955, or you can call the Pastoral Center and ask for Jen Voigt. We also have an email listed up online if you want to look that up. And we'd be more than welcome to work with you in whatever way that you would like to give.
Okay, and how about you, Michelle?
And for me, you can reach me at 419-244-1106, or you can call La Posada Family Shelter, our main office line, and they will get a message to me.
Okay, so if you are interested in helping out for the Project Bethlehem, I don't know, I guess we call it Project, right? It's a Project Bethlehem, but it's really a celebration of helping out the families and that we're serving and the children we're serving. It's a great opportunity, and we're going to keep talking about this and why it's important to do this after our break. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
The effects of abortion are greater than most people realize. It isolates, hurts families, brings about fear, sadness, and grief. It does not need to separate you from God. If you or someone you know is hurting after an abortion, please reach out to Project Rachel at 419-260-5811 or by going to hopeafterabortion.org. Nothing is too great for God's mercy. Project Rachel is here to offer confidential help on your journey to healing.
Did you know that Toledo, Ohio still has an active abortion center? Each year, over 1,000 preborn lives are lost here. But together, we can make a difference. Through prayer, fasting, and peaceful witness, hearts and minds can be changed. Join us this fall for 40 Days for Life. Commit to just 1 hour of prayer each week outside Toledo's last abortion facility. Visit 40daysforlife.com/Toledo. That's 40daysforlife.com/Toledo. Let's stand for life and bring hope to our community.
Now, back to Faith Alive with Rodney Schuster, Executive Director of Catholic Charities here in the Diocese of Toledo.
Welcome back to Faith Alive. I'm your host, Rodney Schuster, Executive Director for Catholic Charities in the Diocese of Toledo. We are talking all things Project Bethlehem here in the Toledo area for both the Permanent Supportive Housing Program that's supervised by Jen Voigt, and La Posada, our emergency family shelter, supervised by Smith-Wojnowski. And we're talking about Project Bethlehem. And, you know, the symbolism of Project Bethlehem, we think about Jesus of Nazareth in Bethlehem and how, he was in a manger, and how the wise men came, the kings came and gave him gifts because they knew that he was the Savior of the world. So the symbolism of Project Bethlehem for the families that we're serving, both in our permanent supportive housing program and La Posada, are really beautiful. And I think it's a great opportunity during the Christmas season when you say, gosh, I really want to help people that, are struggling, people that maybe don't have what we have in the way of family or in the way of resources, or, things are just a little bit upside down. This is a great opportunity for people to come forward and do that. And we've been doing this for a number of years. And I don't know, Jen, do you know how many years we've been doing this?
Yeah, so I found a record, and they have it listed as we started in 1999.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, this has been going on for a while.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that is cool. I didn't even realize that. I mean, I just know since I've been here for 15 years, I think we've been doing it, but I didn't realize 1999. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's an opportunity for us as a ministry to, serve people in a way during Christmas time to let them know how much they're appreciated, cared for, and loved in our ministry. But it's also the opportunity for those who, so many years have supported this and realize that they're making a difference for the people we're serving. So, Jen, I have a question for, what are some of the wish list items that you typically receive with the Permanent Supportive Housing Program? And then, I'll follow up with you, Michelle, as well.
Yeah, so we ask that the people that we're serving do an application process, but the gifts in that is we have them put down wants and needs, and also wishes. So some of the gifts that we come in are basic items like boots and coats, winter coats and hats and pajamas and shoes. And so those are some of the things that kids need as the weather shifts and kids grow. And so sponsors can purchase some of those things, but it's also wish lists. And so I remember back to being a child and having some of those little items that are your favorite and you want them and you're hoping you get them. And so it's a chance for the parents to put down some of those smaller, really wish list items for their child, so that on Christmas morning that they can come in and see those items that they're really hoping for And so it ranges. Could be, a Hot Wheels car to a new scooter. So, yeah, it's fun items like that. But they're also items that the child needs. So we can make sure that they have what they need. And then the parents are able to put some things down. So if they need some blankets or pots and pans or cleaning supplies to keep their house running, we ask them to put some of that stuff down so that, they can also receive during this time as well.
That's awesome. What have you seen, Michelle?
I've seen, especially with our children, we had last year one little boy who wanted everything Spider-Man. And so on his wish list, he put that he wanted Spider-Man pajamas, Spider-Man slippers, toys, cars. And the donor was awesome. And he had a Spider-Man Christmas. Oh. And then we had another little one who wanted everything Cookie Monster. And so in talking with the donors, they love the challenge of, being specific. And they're like, we need to know where we can find Cookie Monster. We want to know, how many does he want? What does he want? And so it's great to be able to have that interaction with people because they understand the situation that our families are in, and they want these kids to have the best Christmas possible. So being able to really tailor it to whether it's a small child or a teenager or even an adult, the donors have been just incredible in shopping for our families and just trying to make sure that these kids have smiles on their faces on Christmas morning.
You know what I love about that too is it's carrying on treating people with dignity and respect, right?
Absolutely.
Because we could just say, just whatever gifts you can purchase or do, bring them in, and of course we could find a home for them. But specifically for Project Bethlehem, I think it's beautiful that as we would with, if we're blessed to have children or grandchildren, we want to provide them gifts that hopefully, lights up their life and lights up their life in this during the Christmas time, during the celebration of Jesus' birth. So Michelle, share about what are some of the reactions that you've seen from kids' faces, from parents' faces because of Project Bethlehem?
I think the kids are the ones that get me because they're just smiles everywhere. And we have some kids that get very emotional. They get very tearful. I get lots of hugs. They're so appreciative, and especially the parents. And it's tough for parents in shelter because their primary focus is we want to try to find housing. Yeah. And especially if they're working, we don't want those parents to have to struggle with the decision of, do I provide Christmas for my children while I'm trying to focus on, creating our forever home. And so those parents are very appreciative and they're very humble. So a lot of times I have to go to them and say, look, I need your wish list. I need to know what you want. And oftentimes we just want to focus on the kids. And I'm like, no, but I need to focus on you as well.
Yeah.
So making sure that they have those things for their household, or if it's something personal, let us know what's on your wish list so that you can be happy with your children also.
You listen to Faith Alive, and our guests are Smith-Wojnowski and Jen Voigt, who head up La Posada and our permanent supportive housing program. So, Michelle, I want to have a follow-up to that question, which you just mentioned, seeing the kids and their reaction and the parents and their reaction. How do you both navigate, as a parent sometimes that they might feel that, wow, they aren't able to provide Christmas how they would want to. How do you personally navigate that with the parents and saying, it's okay, you know what, we want you and your children to have Christmas, and don't feel any shame or guilt because of the situation that brought you to us? How do you navigate that to make sure they don't feel like, that they haven't done as a parent to provide Christmas?
I know for the shelters, it can be difficult sometimes. We have our pride, and we want to provide. We want to do what's best for our children, and sometimes it's hard to just take that step back and receive help. And so we talk to them about, there's a season for everything. And right now, this is a season for you to receive. But next season, it may be the season for you to give. And we give examples. There were times where, there was a time years ago where I was on the receiving end with my family. So I do share that with families, that my children received when I wasn't able to provide. But that was one season. Since then, I've been able to be on the giving end. And it is, much better to give sometimes than receive. We feel better when we're giving. But we also have to realize that these seasons are short. Yeah. And so, receive while you can, but then also know that while someone did this for me, I can do this for someone else in the future.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Jen, did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I think we take that same approach, and we also share with them that they can give back to these sponsors by, writing a note, having their children write a card. That's a way to give back. It doesn't always have to be a tangible item. But it's also thanking someone and reminding them how they are in this with them and helping them receive during this season. And so I've gotten to witness some of those pictures or little videos or just little cards that a 6-7-year-old a little child just wrote a note of thanks, and then the parents be able to sit down and write a thanks to the people that give. And so there's a beauty in that, and in a moment where you can also give to someone. It doesn't have to be a tangible thing. And so we help encourage that and to sit in that with them while they are in the season of receiving. So that's another way that we're able to walk through that with them and show them that.
That's so beautiful. And I think so much of how God has made us, where there's a need to give and a need to receive. And I think so much of that can be difficult. And so it's the way the both of you just described that, and how, the people we're serving, we want to give to you. We and our sponsors want to give to you. It's a beautiful thing, and to let them realize that, there's a joy in Christmas and working with others and in the Christmas spirit. So that's awesome. So one more time, how can they learn more if people who are listening want to be a sponsor, want to volunteer? In La Posada's case, how can they get in touch with each of you?
Yeah, so here at the Pastoral Center, you can reach out to Jen Voigt with Catholic Charities. My direct line is 419-214-4955, or my email is jvoigt@toledodiocese.org.
Okay, awesome. Michelle?
I am at La Posada Family Shelter, and that's 419-244-1106, or you can reach me at Smith-Wojnowski@toledodiocese.org.
Awesome. Thank you both so very much for the beautiful work that you do, not only in your ministries, but especially this time of year, because it is a lot of work that both of you put in to try to help make Christmas special for the children and the parents that you're serving. So thank you both. All right. Well, that's another episode of Faith Alive. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank Annunciation Radio for allowing us to be on these airwaves. Until next week, God bless.
You've been listening to Faith Alive with Rodney Schuster. For more information about Catholic Charities programs and services, visit CatholicCharitiesNWO.org. You can listen to this and other episodes anytime on demand on the Annunciation Radio mobile app and at AnnunciationRadio.com.